What's up guys, Rich here from richaniche.com. A lot of people are getting into digital marketing strategy and digital marketing consulting. I just want to stop by today and drop my 2 cents on what I think the job of a digital marketing consultant should be. Because it's pretty vast and I think it's very easy for scope to get out of whack when it comes to digital marketing. There's so many areas, and so today I'm going to define it for you so that when you bring on your clients, you're going to know exactly what your role should be and you're going to be able to craft the right expectations for your clients. So let's get started. Okay guys, digital marketing consultants, they have one primary job, and that is to map digital across the entire 8-stage customer journey. Now, if you don't know the 8-stage customer journey, let me quickly remind you. It's awareness, engagement, subscription, conversion, onboarding, offers, advocacy, and promotion. So essentially, digital marketing is all about taking those 8 stages and mapping out campaigns for each of them, making sure there's coherence across the board. But let's just say your client needs help with awareness, right? You're not gonna go ahead and work on their entire customer journey. You're gonna look at what they've done so far for awareness. You're going to do what's called an audit. And then you're going to suggest what they could do going forward on the various major platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, etc. Now, there might be some implications regarding messaging or tone, or maybe each platform needs to be treated differently with a different voice. Now, maybe it's something different. Maybe the client wants to improve sales for the next 4 quarters. As a good digital marketing consultant, are you just going to recommend the same thing for awareness? No. As a good digital marketing consultant, you're going to recognize that to sell is much different than to acquire. And so if you're the digital marketing consultant and your client needs sales, maybe you should recommend some email campaigns, some Facebook marketing with retargeting, maybe social media contests or referral campaigns, something to stimulate sales. You're only as good as your recommendations for that particular brand in that particular scenario. That is the skill of the digital marketing consultant, to determine the best course of action given the client's circumstances and their resource pool, right? Every content or digital marketing campaign begins with, well, how much money are you going to invest in this? And what are you currently doing right now? And I think digital marketing consulting and being a strategist is a great way to earn more money, especially if you're social media and tech savvy, because ultimately, digital marketing, it often just means you're a really, strong tech early adopter and you kind of pick up things faster than other people. And so really you're just better at making educated guesses on user behavior and trends. But I would warn you that, if you want this to be your full-time thing, you may find it challenging to get enough work purely as a consultant. I personally charge $250 to $500 US an hour for digital marketing consulting, and I specialize in 3 areas: funnel design, brand clarity, and content strategy. And sometimes I don't get one of them for a while, and sometimes I'm doing all 3, but it does vary. And I think it's possible for you to do the same. But I really think as you get started, you might want to not just be a consultant, you might as well also be a digital marketer. Like, you might as well do the implementation as well, because I think to be a consultant, you really have to know how to implement as well. And I think in my last video, I recommended, start working on your own projects when you have time, build more results for yourself. So you're going to by nature know how to do almost everything. I really know how to do everything. Doesn't mean I want to, but you should know. And people will pay $75, $150, $200 an hour for some of this tech work. And then obviously you can do value-based pricing as well. So, maybe don't just tell them what to do it for them. There probably is a lot more work and a much bigger budget. But, you guys came to this video to find out what is a digital marketing consultant. And I think I've outlined that pretty clear for you. So, a typical digital marketing consulting session might be 90 minutes. Let's call it $300. Client comes in, they think you're an expert consultant in digital marketing, and they're going to say, I've got this coffee shop and I'm located here and we're selling an online X, and we also have a book, but we're trying to do these kind of partnerships. Like, they'll be all over the place. And your goal will be to say, what is the number one thing? If you had me doing one thing, what would you have me do? Like, what would you have me fix first? Figure out their number one priority. And then figure out why it hasn't worked so far. Like, what is the mistake they're making? Because they should be able to articulate somewhat their blockages, their failures, And that will give you insight into how to fix the problem. Maybe they don't know how to run a proper webinar. Maybe they don't know how to properly set up Facebook ads. And maybe they're going to tell you, you know, we had someone do Facebook ads for us, but it was like, you know, $30 CPMs and we couldn't afford it. And maybe you realize, well, it shouldn't be $30, it should be $6. And so let me go figure that out for you and see if I can make this work. You know, I've done so many different types of interventions, what we call the work we do as consultants, an intervention. You know, one time I remember getting paid like $2,000 to do something that took me like 10 minutes. The client didn't realize they didn't have a mobile website. And so getting them a Shopify template with a mobile responsive theme, it like doubled their sales overnight. And so, you know, the value is obviously there. And that's just what you want to do as an expert consultant. It's what can you offer this particular client in this particular situation? Because I can guarantee you, a one-size-fits-all strategy does not work unless you're in a super, super tight niche, which might be a good idea. You're going to have to vary your strategy based on the target demographic, based on the brand size, based on the leader's intentions and appetites for risk, right? One leader may be really ready to take a lot of risk and go all in on Instagram. And another leader may not even be on Instagram yet. They're scared to move away from their Facebook page, which has 50,000 followers, and they don't want to start Instagram. You know, these are the kind of questions you're going to face. And that's why I think, you know, it's not important to be right. What's important, and maybe this is the ultimate note of this video, what's important as a digital marketing consultant is that you give your client pathways, and that you have confidence that either pathway will get them what they want, but it's gonna take a different amount of time and a different amount of money and potentially a different amount of people to get the job done, right? Like if you want 1 million people to hear about your spinner widget brand, you could just get 1 million reach on Facebook. You could get an influencer post on Instagram. You could run an ad during a major sports event on TV. There's lots of different ways to get the goal. And ultimately, as a digital marketing consultant, you need the experience so that you can define those pathways for your consultants in real time, right? Like the faster you can articulate a strategy for someone, the more impressed they're going to be and they're going to see you as an expert. But hopefully by the time you give the strategy, you've already been paid, right? So the last thing I want to leave on this video is that as a digital marketing consultant, we often get underpaid because people don't know the value because they actually don't really know what it is we do. They can't tangibly feel so clearly. And so many of the clients we work with are influencers, solopreneurs, new entrepreneurs, new businesses. Those types of companies and people often don't know the true value of many of the things we offer. And that's okay. It's their loss, but it's also our fault, right? And so positioning yourself is very important. And so typically you're going to want to have a discovery call with a client before you even give them a single piece of advice. And that's the tricky thing, is that in the beginning, I often gave a lot of advice up front because I wanted to see them I was the real deal. I knew what I was talking about. And that kind of worked. But slowly but surely, I want to get away from that completely. And I think it's always about finding the right balance, right? Like if a huge brand wants to come talk to me and there's a $50,000 consulting budget on the line, I'm happy to do 2-3 hours of free consultation if I truly believe it's going to lead me to that result, right? So you have to kind of know what's at stake. You have to know, is this a one and done or is this a long-term partnership that I should invest in right now? So good luck to you if you're starting the digital marketing consultant's journey. You should start a website ASAP, have a domain name, have an email capture. You should have a lead magnet that helps people hire you, meaning you position yourself and explain, you know, what they need to get started to work with you and maybe give them a little checklist or a tool. And yeah, you'll be off to the races. Start telling people very, very soon that you offer this. That way they can tell other people. So you want to walk around and say, you know, my name is Rich and I'm a digital marketing consultant and I help brands dominate their niche. When you can say that, that person may not need your help, but they can recommend you to someone. They're like, oh, that guy, he helps brands and digital marketing. I think Jerry over there needs that, so I'm gonna go tell him that. And so just verbalizing your value prop to the market is very important. So if you have any questions about consulting, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them in another video. I hope you guys can see I'm trying to get back to YouTube and pumping out some more content. So enjoy it, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications, like this video, and See you in the next one.